Greetings, Cyberyoga family. I'm here with my good friend Judy Mayorga, hip-hop pioneer, foundational. If you don't know, need to know this. Need to know about him and what he does. And that'll be for another video in the future. So today's video is about commitment and honoring your word. And so me and my friend here, amazing Dino, wanted to weigh on in our perspectives and our thoughts about the importance of your commitment and honoring your word. Dino, introduce yourself.
Peace. Dino, the original here. We're just chatting about how important it is to show up on time when you make a commitment to meet up, whether it's for friends or business, and how honoring people's time and keeping your own word to show up somewhere on time is super important. And if you don't already inherently have that within you, how important it is to learn or develop or discipline yourself to that behavior of and planning for showing up on time when you make a commitment or a date or a meetup, and how that shows how much you value the other person's time or the group's time.
Amen.
So we're just chatting about that and you know, using that in our relationships and in our business relationships as well.
Absolutely, he said it best. You know, wise words from an amazing man. And the reason why this video came up, because we're in a meeting obviously right now, and we're waiting for a friend, B-Boy Friction.
Wait, don't call him out.
He's always late. And so we had a meeting last time and he was super late, and he's the one that was really punctual about us meeting up and setting the time, and he's not showing up. So this video was actually inspired by this concept that he never shows up and he's always late. So we were talking about this, and I'm understanding, even through the Bible, you know, it says that your word is your bond and your word should have weight. So if I'm going to show up, or if I make a commitment to myself or to someone else, it should hold weight because it's spiritual, right? So it's about honoring yourself and honoring your word. And this is a really important topic in business, and this is typically why a lot of businesses actually thrive, because a lot of businesses are actually built on trust and commitment. So if you're going to purchase a product from say like an Apple or any kind of company that's well established, you trust that brand, and you trust that that brand is actually going to deliver the product and be efficient. And of course, we were talking about being flexible as well, because life does happen, things do change. But as Dino had mentioned earlier, he says that if there's a specific pattern in a person or a situation or some kind of company, then you learn to not build a trust.
Pattern,
exactly. Yeah. So you're learning.
Right.
So it's like you're not really trusting that person or that brand. So it's really built on trust and committing to yourself and committing to your own integrity.
Right. Right. When you start noticing a pattern in a person, and they're being continuously late or laggy, or just showing signs of non-committal, is that a word?
Yeah.
Non-commitment. Mm-hmm. And it becomes excessive, you know, and you start worrying about that person. And I know that life sometimes gets in the way, because I've been guilty of perhaps showing up, you know, a little late because of unpredictable things. But
True.
All that to say that, you know, you do want to do your best to plan ahead, you know, and if you do have to go out, I mean, Cyberyoga just drove to Orange County all the way from North Hollywood, and I'm like, you showed up on time, like, and every single time shows up on time.
Well, today I was actually a little bit late, but
3 minutes. It's like, you know, you always want to give somebody 5 to 10 minutes.
Exactly.
But if somebody is continuously like an hour later than the scheduled meeting, or, you know, 2 hours late all the time, and you know what? I don't want to say all the time, but you know, a lot of the time, because, you know, sometimes, you know, it's just kind of off.
Yeah.
You know, they show up on time once, but for the next 10 meetings, they're always late.
Yes,
you know, so you start kind of like seeing the pattern, and maybe it's something to talk about with if you're encountering that with some of the people you love, you know, to sit down and have a conversation about it.
Beautiful.
And it is a skill to learn. You can learn to be on time.
My question for you, because I've known this guy for almost 20 plus years, and he's always been efficient, always been professional, always been articulate. And so, Dino, my question for you is, how did you learn this ethic, or what inspired you to have this ethic of always being efficient and being on time and being punctual? Where did you learn it?
I think punctuality, I think it was a combination of teachers at school, elementary school. I have a few memorable grade school teachers, Mrs. Staton, Mr. O'Neill. I still remember their names. This is like over 40 years ago. I haven't been in elementary school for over 40 years. So Mr. O'Neill, Mrs. Staton, they always stand out for different reasons. And it's just something I like to do. I like to be organized, and I like to show up on time. It lessens my anxiety level, if I'm prepared. And don't get me wrong, I am guilty of sometimes being unprepared, just like I'm human. But if you prepare yourself the night before, the week before, the morning of, and all it takes is maybe just getting up 1 hour earlier, I'm one of those scary people that's both a morning person and a night owl. So I'm up at 4 a.m., but I could also be up out dancing with you till 2 a.m.
Exactly.
I'm one of those scary people that happens to be both.
Exactly.
And I think it's just something I enjoy. I enjoy being organized. I enjoy writing things down and keeping a calendar.
Yeah.
Personally, it's just something I enjoy.
Yeah.
But there were also skills that were learned on how to be most efficient with your time, how to manage your time. And and most importantly, for example, right now, the friend that was running a little bit, kind of a lot behind.
A lot behind.
What I've started doing is sending a text saying, most importantly, drive carefully. Get here safely, and then we'll rag on you when you get here.
Exactly.
But I started doing that most recently because I started becoming a little more compassionate towards people that maybe it doesn't come natural for them. They still want to show up, but they just kind of drag a little. So I'm like, okay, you know what?
Exactly.
Get here safely, drive safely, and then maybe we can talk about it when you get here. So
beautiful and wise words. And I've always been around him, and I've learned a lot from Dino, just about being more efficient. Of course, I've had it, but there's always layers to it. And I remember the most important, impactful lesson I learned was from a seminar from Landmark Forum, and I learned the foundation of integrity. And then as I've evolved and healed in my spiritual journey, I've gotten to the point where I now follow Jesus, and I'm learning from the Bible. They're saying that your word is really powerful. So your word and your commitment to yourself and to someone else is really powerful. So your word should always have weight. So knowing that I can trust on Dino, or Dino can trust on me, or I can trust in a person because they built the establishment of their word and their commitment to themselves and to others. Really important.
Right. I wanted to add really quick. I recently heard a short talk on Darren Daly when he was talking about the biggest lie is the lie that you tell yourself, because sometimes you don't keep the word, your own word, on certain goals or certain things you want to accomplish. And I was like, I'm more guilty of not keeping my own word to myself than I am,
Bingo.
coming through for other people.
Bingo.
So I'll commit to doing something for somebody else, and I'll show up.
Bingo.
I'm all about it, but then, I had to work on a lot of the things I promised myself.
Bingo.
So yeah, keeping the word for
I've been guilty of that
yourself.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect, but at least I'm understanding and I'm checking myself, and I'm always focusing on being better.
Every day.
Being better every day.
We practice every day.
He brought a good point about that. It's that I got to check myself, because how can you truly commit to someone else with your word if you can't truly commit to yourself?
Right.
Because you come first, right?
Right.
So if I'm going to work out and focus on my goals for 2025 and moving forward, I have to make sure that I'm committing to myself, and my word is my bond. It's my contract to myself. So really important. Any last words, or how can people find you?
first of all, Happy New Year 2025.
Yes.
At Dino the Original on Instagram. At Dino the Original.
I'll make sure I put his links and everything there. Dino, thank you so much for your wise
Cyberyoga.
words. Amazing friend for 20 plus years. Learned so much. Beautiful bond. Amazingly talented. So if you need any kind of artwork done on physical paper, clothing, artistic expression, dance, this guy is a hip hop pioneer and a legend from Orange County. Make sure you give him a follow. Sending love.
Have a beautiful day.
Peace and blessings. Jesus is the way. Follow Cyberyoga. See you in the next one.